5 things homeowners should do. First, number 1 are your gutters downspouts. So the downspouts are responsible for directing water away from your house. That's their job. The water goes through the gutter, down the downspout, and then out the downspout at the very end. I can tell you, I've seen a lot of different downspouts disconnected or missing or turned the wrong direction. It's bad news. So there's several different ways to approach this. The most common one is just to have the downspout where it comes out. What happens is when it really rains hard, the water just flows through your yard and you end up with a big wet mess. And if you've got a basement or a crawl space, it might be going down in there. The second thing is you can place a gutter splash block underneath. The water hits that, goes down further away from your house. Those are better than nothing. But what really happens is they end up getting moved, bumped by a lawnmower or whatever, and they don't do a good job. So they're marginal. Also, you can get a flexible downspout, and it will connect, and you can move it somewhere else. That's an option. They work well. The downfall of those is that you've got to move them when you're mowing, and also after a few years, because they're plastic, they break down. You've got to buy another one. They're $10, $12, might be a little bit more depending on where you are. Then what you've got are the option that I do is I bury all mine. I have at any of the homes I've owned. I take the end off the downspout, the little curved end, and you can see from the photos here that I've gone part way up the downspout and attached PVC piping to that, corrugated piping, and then a trench is dug, and you take that out a couple feet from your house and fill it with gravel, and then you don't have to move it. It's permanent. You cover it up. You don't have to worry about it again. Depending on where they are in your home, you can also have some of them go together under one trench. So one of my homes, I did that. It was in such a way that where they were, I could put them all in one trench and then run them out together. So look at some of those options. Okay, let's talk about cleaning your gutters. Well, cleaning your gutters is, well, it's not a joy. It's about like washing a cat, maybe. I don't know what else there could be. You know, there's an awful lot of things that I'd rather do than clean gutters. But they do need to be cleaned and inspected. It's good to do this twice a year. Do it in the spring so you know if there was any damage over the winter from storms or anything. And also do it in the fall before winter so you can clean out any leaves and such. If you do have a lot of leaves and pine needles and such in there, you might want to look at some trees that are overhanging and dropping those in your gutter and trim those back. You can get a mesh guard for your gutters, and that will keep some of that out. It's not fail-proof, but it is better than nothing. And you can also get gutters installed that are all one piece and completely covered to where nothing gets in there. So there's a lot of different options, but you do need to do that. Number 3 is to check the roof. So we're going to go into depth on another episode where we're going to interview a roofer and look at some roofing things that you really need to know. But for right now, you should step away from your house and look at your roof. See if there's any missing shingles, any that are curled up, anything that looks out of the ordinary. Look for debris. There might be branches, airplane parts, an aardvark. You know, I don't know what's on your roof. But check your roof. If it's too shallow, then you can't see it. Well, then you should get up on there or have someone get up on there and check it at least once a year. If you do see any shingle problems, it's good to address those before it becomes worse. So let's look at number 4, looking at the ceilings inside your closets. Now really, when have you really looked at your ceilings in your closet? I realize that sounds pretty bizarre, but it's really helpful. If there was a leak in the middle of your living room, it'd be dripping down and you'd notice it. But in your closet, in maybe the back corner, if there was a leak started, you'd never notice it until it was really bad. So you should look up there occasionally. And if you're buying a home, that's a perfect place to look. Now, just a note that home inspectors, when they come to inspect a home for a purchase, they're not allowed to move the seller's items. So they can look up there, but they cannot move their items. All right. Number 5, shut-off valves for sinks and toilets. I have seen a lot of sinks and toilets with no shut-off valve. I've even owned some properties with no shut-off valves. And once upon a time, that was just the way it was. You really need to have a shut-off valve at every water source. So whether it's under your kitchen sink, your bathroom sinks, your toilets, if there's a problem with any of those, you want to be able to shut it off. Otherwise, you have to just go shut the main water off, and you should watch the other episode with the 3 things every homeowner should know with how to shut your water off. But if you have to shut the whole water off, well, gee, if you've got 2 bathrooms, you can't use either one. You can't run any water in another area that's not a problem. So having that shut off allows you to be able to shut that off. So that's our 5 things real quick. Please subscribe. We'll have some more helpful things. I'm Beth Powell, realtor here in Southwest Virginia in the Roanoke Valley.